Hey guys, welcome. So this is the stretching for your wrist. If you have wrists that are basically stuck and they don't want to move, I'm going to show you these 4 simple things that you can do. The key is to do these every single day. So it's hard to see progress with range of motion increases if we just do it once a week or maybe like twice a week. So the key is to do this every day. It shouldn't take you very long. And it's stuff that we've done before, but now you have the freedom to do it whenever you want, at least once a day. So I'm going to go over the things that we're going to do. So the first is all 4 directions, and I'm going to show you those. Those are the ones we do all the time. We're going to do 20-second hold and just rotate through them. And then we're going to do a dumbbell, can of soup, eccentric curls. Okay, this is going to help get us a little bit more range of motion. We're going to do 3 sets of 8 reps per side. And eccentrics is very tricky, so I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. The next is just finger stretches. And I know you're like, I don't need to stretch my fingers, but they are attached to your wrist. So if those are really tight, it will affect your wrist mobility. So 3 sets of 20-second hold. And then we're gonna actually work on a handstand hold. You can also do a plank hold if we're unable to get into handstand, but just spending a little bit more time in a functional way with that wrist down could help, okay? So just going over the all 4 directions first, we're gonna do 20-second holds, and then we're going to just switch and rotate through them. So the first one that we do all the time is getting your fingers. The key thing when you're doing with all these stretches is to make sure that your hands are underneath the shoulder and that your fingers are open wide. So they're not like a princess hand. So hands right underneath the shoulder, fingers open, and we're just gonna hold that for 20 seconds, leaning forward. Just making sure that your elbows stay locked out. You're taking some deep breaths. Good. And do a little side-to-side action, you certainly can. All right, the next stretch, so this is the second direction. Again, we have 4 directions. Fingers are facing your feet, and you're gonna sit back. So when you do this, just make sure that your hands are about shoulder width apart, like mine are, and they're not too close, and they're not too awkwardly wide. So trying to get your hands, turn them around as much as possible, and then sitting back. Taking some deep breaths. Just 20 seconds. Good, and then after 20 seconds, we're gonna get both hands and we're gonna get our fingers facing one another. So when we're facing one another, make sure your hand is underneath the shoulder. It's not out here in front of your body. And then we're going to try to lock out the elbows and kind of push the back of your hand down into the floor. This one's a little bit more gnarly for me, so I'm gonna take some deep breaths. And then after 20 seconds, the last rotation is going to be palms up, fingers facing your feet, so the gorilla stretch. So you're going to sit back, again, trying to really get some rotation in your elbow. Notice how my elbow is here now. I'm going to turn it there, and I'm going to feel it a lot more when I do that. So just trying to get as much range of motion through that wrist as we can. Deep breaths. So that is the 4th position. So you're gonna do all 4 of those positions. You're gonna hold it for 20 seconds. You're gonna rotate through, and you're gonna do it 3 times total. So all 4 positions, 20 seconds, 3 times total, okay? And then after that, you're just gonna simply find a can of soup, maybe a can of chili or beans, maybe even a water bottle filled with water, something that weighs maybe a pound, maybe 2 pounds. If you have a dumbbell at your house, then by all means grab that. The key thing is to make sure that you do the movement correctly. It doesn't really matter how much weight you get. So I am going to use, as ever fitting, this can of Lysol. There's my can of Lysol. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. Okay, so in this position, this is my dumbbell. It's gonna be your can of soup or your water bottle. So when we do eccentrics, we are trying to increase range of motion. We're trying to go a little bit slower. So it needs to weigh at least a pound or so that it takes you down into that range of motion. So what I'm going to do, probably need to scoot back just a hair. Okay, so I'm gonna get my wrist and my hand. Again, I need to scoot back a little bit more. You can see. Okay, there we go. So I have the weight in my right hand. I have my right elbow on my right knee. So I'm gonna hold my whole forearm on the back of my knee, so I'm resting it on my leg, and my wrist is free, and my wrist is off my hand, okay? This might be a better position. So when we do this, this is neutral wrist. When I do the eccentric, I'm going to curl my wrist and I'm gonna go down. This is why the weight's important. It's gonna help go down, make your wrist get more range of motion. It's gonna go down a little further. I'm gonna go down as slow as I can and get as much range of motion going down as I possibly can. And then I'm gonna get my free hand and I am going to push the weight back up. That's the important part. So we're not doing just a curl here and strengthening this. We're trying to actually lengthen it. So when we do that, we want to go slow, 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 all the way down. And then we get assistance. We go back to neutral. Slow, 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 all the way down. Assistance, back to neutral. That simple exercise can actually help elbow tendonitis as well. So after you do it supinated, which means my palm is up, then I'm gonna do it pronated, okay? So my palm is now down. So now I start with the neutral wrist, so again, straight across, and I'm gonna go down. So again, eccentric is going down, and I'm gonna get as much range of motion here. So now I'm lengthening the top of my arm, the top of my wrist. I'm gonna get as much range of motion, and then I'm going to assist to go back to neutral. So using my hand, go slow, 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 as much range of motion, as much curl as you can get in that wrist, do so, and then go back up. Slow, 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 slow. Back up, okay? So you're gonna do both arms, both hands, and you're gonna do 8 reps. So what I would recommend is do supinated, pronated, that's 1 set on that side, supinated, pronated, 1 set, and then do 2 sets, and then do 3 sets. 8 reps shouldn't take too long. That should take probably less than like 3 minutes to do all sets of everything. So just take it slow. If you feel like you can add a little bit of weight, that's fine. It's just gonna give you more range of motion, but just make sure that you're not doing the concentric contraction, meaning you're not curling it up on your own or coming up on your own. You're using assistance when you do that. That way you can isolate the eccentric and you can get more range of motion. So again, 8 reps per side. And then the next thing we're gonna do is finger stretching. That sounds fun, right? So I'm gonna move this out of the way. I guess I could have done this in a different order while you're on the ground for your wrist, but if you want to just change that order, you certainly can. So finger stretching, we are going to open up your hands really wide, get them underneath your shoulders, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my palms up while keeping my fingers down. And I'm going to come back down. So I'm going to do this to the side so you may be able to see it a little bit better. So I'm gonna push and then lift up my hands. It feels great. I'm kidding, it feels really tight. And then I'm gonna go back down. I'm gonna go back up. And then go back down. So we're gonna try to hold the stretch for 20 seconds. And because we can do both sides at the same time, we're just gonna do this 3 times. So 3 sets of 20 seconds. So that's 1 minute. of stretching your fingers. So stretching those ligaments right there where it attaches to the hand and then it attaches to the wrist. If those are really rigid, the whole system can be rigid. We're just trying to get as much range of motion there. Feel free to, sometimes I get my fingers together like this and I can pull them apart. If you grab your hands and you just kind of pull them back and forth, you can get a little bit more range of motion, especially if you wake up with stiff hands in the morning. So one thing that can help. So, and the last is a handstand hold. So pretty simple, kicking up, holding for 30 seconds. Just make sure when you kick up that your hands are straight and they're not too externally rotated and then definitely not internally rotated. So we can have our fingers right, or your fingers open and then hands right underneath the shoulder. If you would rather do a plank hold, that's certainly fine. That's going to be a little bit less pressure, but that's certainly fine. If you want to hold the handstand, then hold the handstand. But 3 sets of 30 seconds, just making sure that you're locking out and you're pressing through the floor and just getting that range of motion. So the stronger your wrists get, the more flexible it can get as well. So that's why you want to do a little bit of strengthening and then a whole lot of stretching. So let me know if you have questions with any of those. We have all 4 directions on the wrist stretch for a 20-second hold. We have the finger stretches for a 20-second hold. And then we have the eccentrics, which is an important part for that. And then we have the handstand or the plank hold. So let me know if you have questions. Try to do this every single day, like I said, not once a week, but every single day, and you will start to see improvements, especially if, you know, things like handstands and snatches or overhead squats or even the front rack position, if that's bugging you a lot. So again, let me know if you have questions. Thank you.